Good early morning, everybody. First time in a while I've seen a setup actually come to fruition, so I want to cover it. I put it in the channel. Somebody said, "Hey, is that a false breakdown?" No, but it can be. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna mark out this level. I know we've been playing it so many times, but that's the pre-market resistance. We broke the bottom of our flag. If we reclaim our pre-market resistance, we should go to the top of the flag. That's the setup. Then you go to the runner if you want to play more. Somebody said there's a Trump speech tonight. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. But if there is, and we do nothing all day except trade sideways, this play does not go away. So I know that this is just getting ridiculous with how much flags within flags that we have. But I am doing my best to keep track of them. I'm sorry, I just came in from a run. I'm still got my autonomic nervous system pumping like crazy. Anyway, the higher low is still the higher low. The higher low is down here. So no matter how much we chop up in this range, it doesn't become bearish until we lose that. And even then, when we lose that, we're just gonna cycle one more time and retest the bottom of the flag like so. Like if we lost this, it would just cycle down one more time. Okay. That's what it looks like. What's the point of keeping this flag on the chart? Even though we can lose the flag and not be bearish, it's because all we had to, if we dip below the flag and then reclaim, it still counts as a false breakdown, even if we don't go to the bottom of the range. That's why we keep track of it. So, it's just lots of anal details, keeping track of the flags within flags within flags. It's pretty annoying, but that's what it is. I also took the low time frame flag off my chart, but it was from here to here. I don't think it's as useful anymore. We already used that false breakdown. You can see the exact same play here. We broke the bottom of our low time frame flag. This was the resistance. We cleared the resistance, and that's why we pushed this move. Okay? So we broke the bottom of our high time frame flag. This is resistance. If we clear this resistance, then we'll push that move. Exact same thing is below. With the low time frame flag, I know you got to squint because it's so much wicks, but it's the same exact idea. Break the pre-market resistance and go. Bitcoin should be on its way. Now, later, I don't know if it needs to be annoying. It could, but I'm convinced it's going to go up. I'm holding Bitcoin. You should too. RIOT is a decent buy here in the 1880s. I like this. My buy was right around here at 20. Now we're below it. That's okay. If you recall, we sold RIOT in 3 parts, but the third part wasn't sold. So I sold RIOT here. I sold here. Then I held here because I was looking for higher. I was looking up to 32, 33, 34. So I held the last bullet. And rather than stop out of the position, I instead am rebuying at 20 rather than stopping out of that last long because I'm bullish on the miners. I just could have executed better by selling that last one before I did, and I did not. Mara is doing the exact same thing. It's capitulating. It's probably close. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm holding from 12. Now it's 11:58. One day it's 14. The next day it's 11. Maybe it'll go to 10. I don't know. It's doing what it does though. Doing what it does. I really want AMD to hit. AMD's right at support, guys. So AMD is not a bad buy. I'm sitting long from right here, so just it's a little above here, probably right here. So just like RIOT, it's slightly below my entry. The only difference between AMD is I've held through all this because I don't have a huge AMD position, so I don't have a way to trim like I did with the RIOT play, right? I just have to hold through this. But I'm looking for it to take out this high and then set a higher low. So watch for that. If you only have one position like me, you're just going to hold through all this. If you have a bigger position, you want to trim when they fill this gap up here around 580. Yeah, coin is tracking Coin's just consolidating sideways still. Upstart still consolidating sideways. Meta, yeah, this one's kind of getting closer to our target. Certainly looks better than when we entered, right? So this one was an enter somewhere down here, right below 600. Now we're at 670. I'm going to sell that around 800, so that looks okay. SpaceX, I already entered yesterday. This was how I had drawn my chart, so I am right around. My goal was to buy it when it retested the low. Doesn't matter that we swept the low. No, it's still gonna retest the high. You retest the high, you retest the low. We're just playing between back tests, guys. It matters structurally a little bit because when this comes up and it comes up, if it doesn't make a new high, we expect it to come all the way back down. That's why it matters. Because it broke this low. If it never broke the low, I would have different expectations. I'd have it kind of like this instead, make a new high, higher low, and go. But it doesn't change anything for this individual play where I just want to take it back to the all-time high. Okay. It just changes what happens when we retest all-time high. Meaning I don't really want to hold SpaceX. I just want to play this individual move. And so it does change things that broke the low, but only for like high time frame traders who would hold it for like multiple years, and that's not what we're going to do. Netflix isn't particularly compelling. It might come down, it might not. It's just I have leaps in this. It's going to take everything's taking way too long. We haven't had a daily close that says that we should buy this yet. Although if you're holding long, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're just holding through a humongous base, right? Sooner or later, this base will go. It just hasn't gone yet. Palantir, again, just super slow. NUE. Hey, this one's close to our take profit, so be aware of that. I have a trim set at 244. Oxy, I'm looking to short as it gets higher. Yep. I just don't see anything to talk about, guys. I don't see anything to talk about. I think that the star of today should be whether we reclaim right here. And if we reclaim, if we can get a nice little pop out of it. And then fingers crossed, if we get a pop, we want AMD to go first. If AMD goes first and hits a target, we know that the miners are coming right behind them. The miners should be the sector that gets the rotation from AMD because Bitcoin is about to get the rotation from ES, and the miners show the most strength of the crypto sector. I know that when you look at this and you go, hey buddy, these don't look strong. They're down 5% or 6%. That's not what I mean, guys. I mean, like, if you turn this all off and you come to like the monthly candles, the minor consolidation is absolutely ready to explode. I don't think the explosion is to the downside, okay? Especially not being bullish on Bitcoin. So what I'm saying is these are the most wound sector of all the sectors that I track. That's why I think it's good to have exposure. But I do understand that it's annoying watching them come up and down every single day. I get that, guys. But look at these are monthly candles. You can see what's happening here, right? You have this right here. We just back tested this. So when I originally was looking to hit 34, I was trying to hit the top of this this range right here. We only hit to 30, so we came right to the bottom of the range. So that was my bad with that one. But the idea here is we're going to push through that range, and the RIOT play is going to go probably to around 80 something. Then we're going to whip down, catch a higher low off the top of this, and then we're going to push it all the way back to back test this range into the 140s and plus. Okay, so if you look at the monthly candles or 3-month candles, this is where the interest is, right? This is where the interest is, not the intraday 5% moves up and down. Okay, that's why I'm so curious about the miner sector. In fact, this is a great practice to do with everything, right? Like, we aren't quite bearish on SPY. We look okay, right? Now, it's very boring, but we're not quite bearish. Bitcoin, this is not a bearish chart, right? For our high time frame plays, it's boring, but it's not bearish. WGMI, this is our miner sector. Currently, we're just flagging a higher low after having a recent breakout, right? So we should hit another wick higher here kind of like, you know how tops look like this frequently, 1, 2, 3, top, go. We're looking for that sort of thing with this top right here on WGMI. We have 1 high, 2 highs. We're going to get a 3rd high out of that, which means the minor sector could double up before we look for a higher low. Gold, I think we're doing right on this. I never got the gold short off, but we did call almost the exact high on gold, which is pretty cool call out because it was in the all-time highs. I did that by tracking gold against Bitcoin. So that's why I thought Bitcoin was bottoming out while gold was topping. Now I'm looking for gold to flag dramatically, come down, set a higher low, and then I want to play gold at the end of the year because I think gold is going to go really hard to the upside. But the issue is these are 3-month candles, so that could be a year and a half out, right? That could be like 3 candles from now or 4 candles from now. So you understand the time frame I'm talking to you in. Oil, this is a chart always makes me laugh. This was when they were paying people to take the oil barrels, and there was some random place that set this low. They put a trade off and they just stored them in a storage facility, and oil dropped to negative. What's MSTR doing? MSTR looks good too. This is another one, guys. Look at, like, if you look at this chart, just think about this from a chart structure. We made a new all-time high right above here. Now we're back testing a higher low on the top of this range. This is a super bullish chart, okay? Now, if you were long MSTR from 300, you don't feel like it was bullish, right? But if you look at the giant structure of this chart, this is a bullish chart where they're back testing the breakout candle right now. This is when people are buying, guaranteed. Maybe not you, but I'm not in MSTR. But if I was, I would be buying with the idea of I'm going to buy and hold this thing because I know it's going to go up and take out all of these range highs. It has to. You don't break down like this without back testing. So the idea is MSTR is going to go up to 400 something before it makes its next decision. And if you're not leveraged, you can say, hey, I can 3 to 4x my money in this as long as I'm not leveraged. I'm not on some stupid time frame with calls. I'm not going to get margin called with margin. You know, I'm not over leveraged. Then you can just sit and you can hold your chunk. So hopefully if you're an MSTR, you're okay with that. I never gave a formal entry for this, and I don't plan on playing it because I'm playing coin, which is kind of the same thing as MSTR. It's setting the same sort of base, and I'm looking for it to back test the same sort of deal. I'm looking for it to back test these highs again, because if you look at this, coin made a new all-time high up here. As soon as you make a new all-time high, the higher low, the first higher low is going to send it to another wave up, right? If we made a lower high, it would be a different story. But this on a high time frame is a bullish trending chart, right? It's a high, a low, a higher high, and a higher low. Then a higher high is what comes next. Okay, that's about it, guys. Mark the levels on your chart. This is the first time we've had a setup worth watching. You should know about it. And that does not mean it's going to happen right now. It could easily reject. But you want to keep this level in mind. Okay, you want to keep this level in mind. It's probably going to give you more than one opportunity. It means it can pop through here, set a high, do what it did yesterday, try to flag off of it. But just know that if we can take out this pre-market resistance and hold above it, we should be good to go. Our goal is to test the top of this flag, and then when we break out, it's to keep going. When we break out of this high time frame flag, it is no longer just a flag, right? So let me explain this on multiple time frames. This is our high time frame flag, right? This right here, all this price action becomes a false breakdown if this high time frame flag reclaims. And to reclaim this high time frame flag, we simply need to push price through it and hold a higher low above it. Then if that happens, you can trust the trend leg, because the last thing we did was bullish. It was a false breakdown setup. Okay, you can trust a trend leg of a false breakdown setup. Now, this is the exact same thing that we just saw right here. a false breakdown that reclaims a resistance, then you can look for a trend leg. And it's the exact same thing that we saw down here. A false breakdown setup that reclaims a resistance. This, I know it's not clear anymore, but this was our resistance at the time. False breakdown setup that reclaims a resistance is good for a big trend leg, okay? Now, it was slop because there's a flag below a flag, but hopefully it still makes sense. What I'm trying to explain to you. I'm doing my best to explain the concepts to you of false breakdowns, and I have a video in my guide channel, but basically it says if you're looking to trade the high time frame or even the low time frame, always just do the last thing that happened, okay? So if you're in chop, just assume it's going to keep chopping. If you get a false breakdown, it's bullish, assume it's going to keep going. And if you get a false breakout, it's bearish, assume it's going to keep going down. Then the next order of derivative, so to speak, is to maintain. Every wick higher needs a higher low, higher high, or in the case of a breakdown, you need a lower low and a lower high. Almost everything ends with a big false breakout or a big false breakdown. And then you just do the last thing that happened, right? Then you just go the other direction. That doesn't help you that much on ES because it's so leveraged. You don't just hold through massive moves. But for these other plays, these other ones that we're looking at, it should help you a little bit. It should say, oh, okay, well, I know that if we reclaim your entry on RIOT right here at 20, the last thing that would have happened is a false breakdown, right? So I should expect the next thing will happen is they'll try to set a higher high. And you can apply this to anything on any time frame. Markets are fractal. It works across the board. Hopefully that helps, guys. I will talk to you later.